Hey, this is Rocket Brain Surgeon, and here we are snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Sometimes you have those games where you do everything that you could possibly do, and yet you still come up on the short end of the stick. Don't get me wrong, this was a very fun game. I am flying the A6M2, the Tier 5 Japanese fighter. This tank emanates a weird smell, that's why no one plays it. Right now I'm having delusions of grandeur, thinking I'm going to be able to attack the 109B before I realize it's a whole bunch of nope, and I try to dodge. He pursues me and tries to get into a turn fight with me. He figures out real quick that one's not going to happen. On the one hand, he is making his loops more vertical in nature, and when you watch him zoom by like that, it's like, wow, I cannot follow him. Oh, he's coming back down again. He doesn't quite understand the type of advantage he has on me, so he keeps on shortening his turns. I don't know what he's going to hope for, but he's going to keep on doing it. It does take me a little longer than I want to line up the shot, but eventually I get there. Looking for the next target, I realize the next target is shooting at me, and so I immediately move to dodge. You only need to get out of their angle just a little bit, and you'll notice that I started my turn before he was even past me, because I know with his airspeed he was going to fly by me, and on approach I get a nice set of guns into him. He's another one that doesn't quite realize the speed and turn advantage that he has over us, and so he's just kind of twisting in the wind, allowing us to kill him pretty easily. It's basically 3-on-5 at this point if you take out all the ground aircraft. We're behind in ground targets, which could be a problem the longer the game goes, as supremacy starts to tick against us if the heavies just decide, hey, we're going to fly into space and ignore you. I avoid the head-on to not get rammed accidentally, even though I could have squeaked out a tiny bit more damage. The plane is maneuverable enough to where I can't force myself on his tail right away, but we'll have a couple head-on passes here before myself or my flight mate take him out. I start to get jittery when shooting the opponent as somebody's shooting at me. I really can't line up the shot too well because this plane simply can't take a lot of damage. I avoid the shots for the most part fairly okay from the BF-110E, and from this point on, if he doesn't try to break away cleanly, he's just going to get beaten down easily. And what do you know, another heavy that's trying to turn fight. I am shocked. This is my shocked voice. Right there was an example where I stayed with the target for the entire time, and I nearly paid the price for it. I almost got shot down. It's just not worthwhile taking damage like that, because I could have just broken away and then pulled back on his tail. The remaining plane is fairly maneuverable enough, but there's 2 of us and 1 of him. I love that kill shot. That's pretty. So my flight mate and I have taken all comers so far, and there's a bow fighter coming up. What I don't want to do is I really can't take any damage at all. The problem is he has a tail gunner, so I'm going to try and be below the plane. I'm not entirely sure whether that's correct or not, but I know that on other planes the tail gunner is above. No joy. Tail gunner takes me out. I cannot describe how many times tail gunners have taken me out in Japanese planes. It is ridiculous. So I got outskilled. However, my flight mate is still alive, and he's on the tail of the bow fighter, and the bow fighter is going to go down, leaving my flight mate against a lone GA. How can we lose? I asked the team where the GA was last seen, but that information is irrelevant as the GA apparently is hunting my flight mate. There is no way we lose this game, right? Typing to my flight mate, you don't have much time. The supremacy counter is ticking quite quickly by now, and he really has to down that plane within about 15 seconds. And it becomes apparent that it's just not going to happen for us. No disrespect to my flight mate, he played a great game, and I think the game on the whole was a ton of fun. Hope you enjoyed. Happy hunting.